Hello, and welcome to the March episode of Hempfield Happenings. I'm Gunnar Main.
And I'm Autumn Rhodes. This month, we will look into stories created by our new student reporters, such as a student whose baking has won awards, the 50th anniversary of one of our elementary schools, and the Sears musical.
All these and more on this month's edition of Hempfield Happenings.
Hempfield has many talented students. Our first two stories are about two students at Hempfield who took their passions and made a business.
Not only can baking improve your everyday mood, but the end result when seeing what you've created naturally enhances your happiness. Faith Landis from Hempfield High School is just one young and passionate baker who finds joy in her hobby.
I've been baking for about 3 years, and since then I've probably baked around 120 cakes. We counted the other day, it's a lot. And so I started off, I think I baked my mom's birthday cake, and it was not good at all, but I enjoyed it, so I kept doing it.
After Faith improved her baking skills and people started to order her cakes, it occurred to her she can begin to sell them and learn even more.
I decorate all of that stuff, and I just learned from trying. At first I could never get it down, and then I continued trying and practicing, and I made so many cakes, and then I just got better and better at it. And as well, I got faster at it too, because it can be very time consuming to make all of the little flowers and stuff by hand.
But Faith only began her baking business, Faith Cakes, after seeing how happy her customers and friends got when they received her cakes.
I knew Faith from elementary school, and she would advertise her cakes in middle school and stuff, and I know people used to buy them all the time. And she recently made an Instagram and would advertise them on there, and I came across it and showed my mom and stuff. So when I got the cake, I was super excited, obviously, because I was oh my god, this is Faith's, and it was really pretty, so that was also exciting, and the floral decoration on it was really cool. Yeah.
Eventually, Faith decided she would enter a farm show competition, specifically for the experience, without a thought in her mind she would win.
Well, to get in, you have to win first place at another farm show. I had entered the Mannheim Farm Show, and I got first place there for a little chocolate peanut butter cookie thing I had made, but I won first place, so it was maybe I could go into the State Farm Show. And then I did, and I won first place, which the prize money was $500.
In the end, Faith really only found her hobby because of the joy that comes with it, and when her customers are happy as well. And from Hempfield Happenings, I'm Ava Vare.
I've liked art. I necessarily wasn't good at it.
The art community is constantly growing and evolving. Art is a medium that can be expressed in a variety of different ways, including drawing and painting. Another unique example is through clothing. Hudson Smiley, a student at Hempfield High School, has been painting his entire life and eventually turned it into a career.
Freshman year, in the summertime, saw a pair of shoes online that I wanted, and I didn't know how to get them, so I just painted them.
The process of designing a pair of shoes has many steps.
It all depends on what kind of shoe you want. The kids usually give me a shoe, cleats or kicks or whatever they want. And then we talk back and forth in person and online for a while. And then I'll do drawings and I'll send them that. And then I'll use that printer and I'll print out some stencils or hand draw stuff. And so it goes from this to one time and then to that.
Since the start, Hudson has had success through many different people.
A lot of my success has come through the football season. A lot of kids want their football cleats personalized, so I'll do that for them. And then recently I've been doing clothing for myself, and then a lot of college kids that a lot of kids in high school that committed to a college, they do shoes for them.
Naya Smiley, Hudson's younger sister, has been very supportive through Hudson's whole process.
Well, I'm proud of him because he is following like our parents' footsteps, like being an entrepreneur, like having his like own business, and I think it's really cool.
Hudson's business did not come as a surprise to them, as entrepreneurship runs in the family. Janae and Chris Smiley, Hudson's parents, own and run many businesses of their own, including Grand Central Bagel, that has been running for 25 years.
Having them being entrepreneurs definitely like helped me out because like I could pursue this, and like they weren't really against it. They like encouraged me to keep going with it, so that was helpful.
Naya also has aspirations of becoming an entrepreneur in the future.
I probably will run my own business eventually just because like both my parents do that. And both my brothers are going to college to major in business, so I'll probably do the same.
Entrepreneurship forces you to grow no matter where you are from. Hudson's passion has led him to grow as a person and as an entrepreneur. From Hempfield Happenings, I'm Grace Monis.
Centerville Elementary School has been positively impacting our community for many years. As it celebrates its 50th anniversary, Ryan Webb spoke to current CES principal Tom Kramer about the school's history.
Many students who walk the halls of Hempfield High School today can probably remember walking the halls of this place, Centerville Elementary School. But what those students and many others may not have known is that as of this year, Centerville Elementary School is 50 years old. In fact, most students who go to the school now were surprised to learn how old the building is. Did you guys know that your school's 50 years old now? Yes! Tom Kramer, the current principal of Centerville Elementary, tells a little about the history of the building.
So my understanding is that when they opened initially, it was in the spring of 1970, which would have been in the middle of the school year. But their first official school year would have been that fall of 1970.
Mr. Kramer feels proud to be the principal of this important place in our Hempfield community.
It's neat because there's been only 4 principals here, to the best of my knowledge. So to be one of 4 people who's been able to run the building is kind of interesting, that they've had such long tenures of the people who were here before me. So it's neat. There's a lot of tradition here because of that. So it's a neat aspect to this building that you don't necessarily have other places.
Indeed, it is interesting. Over all 50 years of being in operation, Centerville Elementary School has only had 4 principals. The first principal, Ray Menser, started in 1970 when the school first opened and continued to be principal until 1991. The second principal, Cheryl Laub, started in August of 1991 and was the principal until June of 2004. The third principal of Centerville Elementary was Janet Baer, who started in 2004 and left in June of 2016.
So I started working here in 2016, was when my first year. My first day here was calm. I started over the summer, so there was no one here. It was nice because it gave me an opportunity to kind of get the lay of the land and get a feel for the building. But yeah, it was a pretty calm first day for me with nobody else being here.
A rich history has been built within the halls of the school over the past half-century. So happy birthday, Centerville Elementary.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Centerville. Happy birthday to you.
For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Ryan Webb.
This year, the girls' basketball team has been winning many games, and even won their section. Eleanor Degg met with the girls' basketball team to learn how they have found success this season.
While previous seasons for the Hempfield girls basketball team haven't been marked with wins, this season, the shots just keep on falling. A 4-year varsity player, Lindsay Dakota, shared her thoughts on the season.
It's definitely, I'm surprised because at first from the tip-off tournament, I didn't think we'd do as well just because we played teams and we didn't win, but I think we kept going and it surprised everybody.
Coach Kendra Merrifield has been head coach of the varsity team for 4 seasons. She helped lead this team to their section win.
I think this season, the girls, using the experience that they gained from the prior seasons, they've used that, been able to build upon previous seasons and take it into this year and being more competitive.
So this year we have a lot of underclassmen that actually play like AAU and club, so they have more experience and they have more skill than what some of the past freshmen have come in with.
On the court-wise, I think our defense won all games, and that starts everything because defense leads to offense.
We can score on offense, but our defense, we don't let other teams score as much.
However, skills are not the only thing that has led this team to be so successful.
I want to give a shout out definitely to our new coach this year, Coach Gorman. She's a big help and a big part of our season this year, and I think she's a lot of the reason why we're doing so well.
I think she brings passion, and she just brings a lot of energy. She's the one that kind of pulls us together.
Their success can be seen not only on the court, but off the court as well.
I would say that I think this team over other teams, the advantage they have is that they're a team. They don't have one or two players that kind of stand out. I think they all work so well together.
Their love for the game is not the only thing that keeps them playing.
I love our team, and playing with them is so much fun. We're all really close. We're like a family.
We love each other, and I know those girls, anytime I fall on the floor, those girls are there to pick me up right away.
I like going onto the court because I know I can trust them, and they're just good friends of mine.
It's brought me so many good relationships and friends that I definitely will not forget.
It's clear to see that the girls have found success by not only playing the sport, but by playing it with each other. From Hempfield Happenings, I'm Eleanor Degg.
Hempfield offers many opportunities for students to pursue music. Centerville Middle School students now have the ability to learn new music skills by joining the school rock band.
1, 2, beginning, and 3, 2.
Centerville Middle School has decided to start a rock band. Erin Stewart is the coordinator for this new band.
So I came across the idea from an organization that's out of New Jersey called Little Kids Rock, and their whole premise is that they want to bring a different kind of music to schools that students are interested in, but they still can learn musical skills.
Little Kids Rock began in 1996 and has been expanding its movement to bring music education into schools ever since then.
I saw that there was a workshop that was being offered at Lebanon Valley College last year, and so I decided to go, and I just fell in love with the program, and I really thought it was something that the Hempfield students could really benefit from. I was able to secure a grant through them and through Moe's Steakhouse, and we're gonna really hopefully start rocking out.
Moe's Steakhouse is one of several corporate sponsors associated with Little Kids Rock. With their donation money, Erin was able to acquire all the necessary equipment she needed. This allowed her to give any student the ability to learn a new instrument.
Anybody can come in. Anybody can learn. I'm willing to take anyone who wants to learn, and that's the joy of this program for Little Kids Rock. It's not music for people that have studied music for years and years and take voice lessons and take piano lessons. It's for anybody to play music, and that's what makes teaching music joyful.
Tristan Cohen is one of Erin's students who is interested in learning more about music.
I wanted to join because I did a talent show last year in drums. I've always had the rhythm for it, and I just love drums in general.
For now, Erin's main focus for the rock band is to expand the number of members, but in the future, she hopes to advance it in other ways.
Well, I hope to have them do some organized concert things. Maybe a couple years down the line, we could do a battle of the bands. Hopefully this will expand, not just through CMS, but also I'm doing some things at LMS as well. But maybe we can see that expand even to the high school. We could do talent shows or, play for sporting events, things like that.
The Centerville Middle School rock band that Erin Stewart has created is bringing students together and teaching them new skills. From Hempfield Happenings, I'm Morgan Minnick.
Every year, Hempfield puts on a spring musical. Our next two stories take a deeper dive into this year's production of Beauty and the Beast.
You may have seen a Hempfield musical before, but there's going to be some new changes this year in the direction of the show. And I'm Laura Claire, and I'm here today with Mr. Ramos, who is the new musical director, and he's going to be telling me a little bit about that. So, Mr. Ramos, what is the role of musical director?
Sure. First of all, thank you for having me. I'm super hyped to be here. The role of the musical director simply takes apart all the things they need to get done and make sure someone does it. And while I balance that part of it, I also teach all the music to everybody. I make sure everyone gets all the notes and rhythms down and that it sounds good. I also direct the pit, where I also make sure that concept is with the instrumentalists that bring the music to life underneath the stage. But I do all this balancing in a rehearsal, and so far we're doing really well with it. So I'm really happy with how things are going so far. What is great about the music director role is watching the cast go from just learning the lines and the songs, and I'm just saying the words, I'm just singing my part, and transforming it into an experience that the audience can have those moments with. It's really quite rewarding.
And have you ever done something like this before?
I have. I actually have directed this show, Beauty and the Beast, twice. So when we were deciding on shows, this was kind of a good choice for a lot of different reasons. But the role of doing all the little jobs actually is new to me. So while I'm really comfortable with teaching the music, especially for Beauty and the Beast, the small tasks at hand is definitely an adjustment and a balance to handle in the process. But I am comfortable with the score, which makes this job a little bit easier. Not much, but it does.
You said you'd worked on shows like this before, but had you ever seen a Hempfield show coming into this?
This is my first time. I am familiar with the name of Hempfield and the school district, but I'm not from Lancaster at all. I just moved here about 6-7 months ago, so I have never seen a production. I have no idea what I'm getting myself into. I just hope I can make a little mark of my small part with the show, and I'm really excited to see how the audience takes us back to what the audience reactions will be with the standard of this program, and we'll see where this one matches up with.
So, since you are new to the musical, you're new with working with the other directors. What has that experience been like?
Working with new people always has its set of challenges. You know, it's not an easy walk in the park when you've never worked with somebody and you have an idea and I have an idea and the other director has an idea, and sometimes we have to compromise, and that's a big part of being an adult and really working on the professionalism of a show, kind of taking what you want out of it and doing what's best for the show. And I think the directors are really good at that, taking what we want and our artistic vision that we have and making sure the students can achieve it with direction and success. And I think we work really well together in that sense because we all really care about the students. So the students are always our main priority and our goal, and I think we work really well together to make that happen.
All right, well, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Laura Claire.
Husband's alarm. I'll hop down off this shelf
and Totsui me myself.
I can't wait to be human again.
Hempfield High School presented the musical Beauty and the Beast in the first weekend of March. The musicals are mostly composed by high school students, but this year, 2 elementary students were involved with this performance.
I'm Natalie, and I'm Chip in Beauty and the Beast.
The role of Chip is being shared by the 2 4th graders, Natalie Reed and Derek Harris.
I think there was about 10 kids who came to audition, and they each, practiced together, and then individually they would do a piece.
This is Natalie and Derek's first experience being in a musical.
My friend Eli, his sister was gonna be in it. He dared me to try out, so I tried out, and apparently I got the part, so.
You know what, Mama? I have a funny feeling inside. I don't know what it is, but it makes me kind of bubbly. My dad picked me up from the bus stop, and my mom, she drove by, and she rolled down her window, and she was like, "You got the part, you got the part."
I really didn't expect her to get picked. I mean, I know she did okay, but there was a lot of really talented kids, so it was exciting.
Now that sounds like something, okay?
Natalie and Derek are beyond what I expected. First of all, I expected one, and I got two. Their first rehearsal, they both showed up with their scripts marked and tabbed, and they memorized their lines like they're supposed to. They both have very different personalities, which I love, and they get along, which is all I could ask for. We have fun, like we're really like a family in the show.
Meeting new people and just doing these scenes. There's like more that you can do, and like it's so much fun.
This will be the 4th time the high school has had elementary students in its musicals. The first time was in 2009 with The Wizard of Oz. Next was The Little Mermaid, and last year in Mary Poppins.
I love it. I think it's great that they bring elementary schoolers because it makes it more realistic. Like, we have kids playing kids.
I think it's just great, an experience for both of them. I know Natalie wants to continue to do other musicals. She just loves coming every time. So I think this has opened a lot of doors for her to try different things.
Performing in the musical was a unique opportunity that Natalie and Derek did not take for granted. From Hempfield Happenings, I'm Larissa Schaefer.
This month, Meredith Hunter investigated the topic of self-esteem in high school.
A big problem for students in high school is having confidence in themselves. A Hempfield guidance counselor, as well as some students, tried to explain why this is a problem and how it can be solved. In a survey of 8,000 students from stageoflife.com, 59% said that they have felt inferior because of their appearance, among other insecurities such as intelligence, race, and gender.
Well, I think Hempfield students are not dissimilar to other teenagers when it comes to just self-esteem and your overall image. I think teenage years are particularly tough just because, you know, you're kind of learning who you are, what's important to you. There's a lot of changing dynamics that happen within friend groups that happen at the high school level, so I think a lot of those things kind of contribute to feelings of, you know, maybe insecurity or negative self-esteem.
Most of the people that compare themselves to others, or like the people that they're comparing themselves to, are like celebrities and people in magazines who are completely just photoshopped, and so it's not really truly themselves. And so for the fact that people are comparing themselves, especially girls, to people in magazines is just really sad because we're living up to this expectation that's just not real.
I have seen many people in high school have issues with self-confidence. If somebody's having self-confidence issues that are maybe a little more severe, then they should probably go at least talk to a guidance counselor.
It's very important to have a good self-esteem and a good mindset.
When we're taking care of ourselves, we're in tune with our emotions and what our needs are, and we're actually responding to those, we're better people. And so when you're feeling better about yourself and your needs are being taken care of, like you're better to the people around you, you're more focused, you're more in tune with, you know, what you need to get done and how you're going to do it.
So what can be done to increase someone's self-esteem?
It kind of depends on your outlook. So do you have a positive outlook on life, or do you tend to be more negative and critical? And if you are, like what's causing that? What's prompting that? So really taking some time to kind of reflect on what are the things that you feel good about, what are things that make you feel confident, and then what are some of those things that are detracting from that. I think once you get an idea of what that is, then you have a better kind of plan of attack on what you can do to help improve that.
Being confident in yourself is important to ensuring your happiness and success. If you're struggling with your self-esteem, you should reach out to the people you trust for help. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Meredith Hunter.
A school resource officer is somebody who has many different roles in this school, beyond just being a police officer. Ben Weaver spoke with administrators, teachers, and Hempfield High School's very own school resource officer to shed some light on these roles.
A school resource officer is much more than just a police officer on school grounds. Officer Tim Marks, Hempfield's school resource officer since 2017, explains what his day-to-day is like.
I try to be here just before the doors open for the students to enter,
So round about 7 a.m. and I make sure that I get here, and I'm here until the end of the school day. By 3 o'clock, most students are gone for the day. Shortly after then, I get to leave, and I do that every single day that it's a student day. So if the kids are here, I'm here.
Outside of student interaction, Officer Marks plays an important role inside the school's administration.
So Officer Marks is not only an East Hempfield police officer. As our SRO, he does wear many hats. So again, yes, being a law enforcement officer, making sure that we're all safe and making sure that our students are abiding by laws and not having any criminal activities here at school. Those are all things that he does. But he also is a great resource in the fact that he will go into classrooms and he will give his perspective as a law enforcement officer, as a police officer, and how things that are discussed in the curriculum pertain to his job, and also how what we discuss in curriculum pertains to our students and just being citizens of our society.
Beyond the administration, Officer Marks can also be an educational asset. Mr. Mitchell uses him to teach students about their rights.
Having him come into class is an awesome opportunity to have someone that is a law enforcement officer to give a very authentic account of many of the aspects that we talked about in government economics and American law. Most specifically, search and seizure and also Miranda rights in the beginning of the due process if one is accused of crime. And that is a very key aspect of our Bill of Rights in the study of that, both at the federal level but also here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
As you can see, a school resource officer is much more than just a police officer. They are also an administrator and educator. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Ben Weaver.
From the girls' basketball team to the high school's resource officer, we sure had some interesting stories this month.
That's right. Thank you for watching this episode of Hempfield Happenings.
And thank you to everyone who made this show possible, and stay tuned for next month's show.